Hi, I'm Tamara Berg. Are you pining for new ways to spruce up your holiday decorations? I'm going to show you some clever ways to work with wood ornaments for our mini Christmas tree and more. Today, we're going to be making decorations for our mini Christmas tree, which is great as a centerpiece or as a tabletop. Also great for people who have maybe smaller spaces that they're living in. We are going to be making this adorable snowman ornament with a little twist that I will show you a little bit later. And like any good crafting project, any good scrapbooking project, it will be embellished within an inch of its life. So let's get started. I'm working with these natural wood ornaments from Indus Trading Company. This is their Christmas assortment and there are lots of great shapes. Another great thing about these wooden ornaments is that they've already been prepped. There's no sanding involved. So again, they're great for working with kids. You don't have to worry about any ragged edges or splinters. And really, we just want to make it pretty. I am going to be making the snowman ornament today. Here he is, little frosty. And he has already been painted with white acrylic paint. I'm going to take a Permapaque pen by Sakura, and I'm just going to use it to draw a little edge around his right side here and give him some definition and a little bit of character all on his right side, even on his face here. And then I'm going to do a little bit of shading with this very exclusive tool. You probably have one just like it at home. And just put some on my finger and then use that to shade the bottom of him, and again on the little side here. Sometimes we're born with all the tools we need, people. I think that looks very nice, gives him a little more character. Next, I'm going to give him a hat and a face, and for this I'm going to be using the Glaze pen, and these pens all come from the Collection series by Sakura. The Glaze pen is really nice because it's a great deep black, and a great thing about these Glaze pens is they dry dimensionally. And then I'm going to give him a little smile. So we have a hat, we have his toothy charcoal smile, and two eyes made out of coal. And then I'm going to use another pen from the collection. This is going to put a little color in his hat band. And this is one of the metallic pens. Makes nice sparkly colors. I'm going to put some holly leaves on him here. And again, sometimes you might want to let them dry and do a second coat to make them a little bit more intense. And he can't be a good traditional snowman without a fabulous carrot nose. And then I'm going to set him aside to dry while we work on our other embellishment. And then I'll go back and do a second coat. So, Mr. Snowman is going to get some mittens. What I'm going to do is make them out of shrink film from Grafix. And look at all the fabulous colors that this shrink film comes in. Is this not fabulous? So, what I've done is I've used a punch to punch out some mittens for Snowy. And here they are, ready to go. Now, with these, we do want to do a little bit of sanding. So I'm just taking very, very fine 400 grit sandpaper and sanding all over the mittens in both directions. And doing this really gives it a nice matte finish, and it also makes sure that any embellishment that we do on this stays put with the ink. You can also use them without sanding them, but I like to sand them just a little bit because I like that matte finish. So I'm just going to, again, get my pens and do Frosty's mittens. And I just want to say, shrink plastic has come a long way since I was a kid. Does anybody out there remember liver lids? Okay, when I was a kid, liver came in deli containers with clear plastic lids on the top. And for all I know, they still do it this way. I don't know. But if you took those lids and put them in the oven, they would do this cool shrink thing. So we would embellish them, put them in the oven, watch them shrink, and made very cool keychains and medallions on clear plastic that was very hard to work with blue, black, and red permanent markers because that's all they had back then. So we're just going to add some more embellishment and some little zigzags. These Permapaque pens are really wonderful because they do go on opaque and they make really nice dark colors, very rich colors, and especially great for these very bold colors that we're working with. I also like the Jelly Roll pens, which are these here, and look at these beautiful metallics, how great they show up. Also, the Stardust pens are fantastic because they are the sparkliest of sparkly pens. And then, of course, you would do this twice because he has to have 2 mittens. Once you have perfected your design, then it's time to move on to the most fun part of working with shrink film, the shrinking. It's kind of magical. So if you wanted to do this in the oven, you would take your shrink film and envelop it between 2 pieces of parchment, put it on a cookie sheet into the oven at 300 to 350 degrees, and it would stay in there for 2 to 3 minutes. The parchment paper keeps it from sticking to itself when it curls up, if it curls up. But we are going to do it right here on the board. We are going to use a heat tool because I like to be close to the magic, like David Blaine. And like any good magician, I have a wand. Actually, the wand is just also known as a chopstick or perhaps a lollipop stick, and we're using it again just to keep the piece from sticking to itself once it heats up. So here we go. And he's starting to shrink. Abracadabra, alakazam, very Chris Angel mind freak. And at the last minute, before it curls, I'm taking out an acrylic block to drop it on top and make sure it comes out perfectly flat. Takes just a couple of seconds to cool off, and then we have a most perfect, most fabulous little mitten for Frosty. Honey, I shrunk the mittens. Okay, so now we're gonna put this on Frosty. So here's Frosty, ready to go. I did go back and do a second coat on his hat, and I added a ribbon as a scarf for him. Also, he's got a couple of shrink film buttons on his enormous belly. And now it's time to give him his mittens. And so I've got a little bit of dot adhesive on the back, and this is the one we just shrank. So put some of that on the back, position them there. And now Frosty is ready to go outside, or in our case, onto our mini Christmas tree. But I have an extra special little bonus. Now, because all of the shapes in the assortment come in pairs, I've got this great element that we've added. We've taken the second Frosty, we've done a little bit of the shading on the back, we have painted his hat, and there's a little surprise underneath. So we're just going to put those two together, and then in the finished ornament, what I did was ran a piece of wire through the 2 holes in the top, added a little bead, twisted it, made a very cute little hook, and put inside a super cute picture of Emily in the snow. So Frosty makes a perfect ornament, finished on the back, but then with a little bonus inside. So now Frosty is ready to go on our beautiful mini tree in a very honored spot. Now I've also made a really beautiful little garland here with our colored shrink film and the pens, punched out the shapes, put them on silk thread, added some beads here and there, because that's what I do. I think it makes a beautiful garland, and it could also be a very festive necklace. Now we also took the ornaments and added the shrink film and created some very pretty napkin rings, this one with a place marker on it. And then we also have our star at the very top of the tree, which has some nice dimension to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this return to tradition using bold colors and time-honored shapes. It's always good to return to happy memories and create some new ones. Make something beautiful. I'll see you next time.
For step-by-step instructions on how to create this week's project, download the design guide featuring special make-it-your-own bonus tips.